Good morning and welcome as we continue our daily devotions looking through the book of Hebrews. Today we're going to look at Hebrews chapter 6, verses 1 through 12. And I'll read just a few verses from this. In chapter 6, verse 10, he writes, "For God is not unjust so as to overlook your work and the love that you have shown for his name in serving the saints as you still do. And we desire each one of you to show the same earnestness, to have the full assurance of hope until the end, so that you may not be sluggish, but imitators of those who through faith and patience inherit the promises." Living for Jesus isn't always easy. In the Old Testament, God's people lived in slavery for 400 years. Then they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, and then they fought battle after battle over the Promised Land. In the New Testament, God's own Son died on a cross. Church leaders were jailed and some put to death for their faith. Anyone who's been a Christian for any length of time has been through a season or two where it seemed like God was far away. God was distant. And if you don't believe me, just ask a good Christian friend sometime about it. You'll probably hear an earful about a time or two in their lives where it felt like God was far away. And so, in light of all of that, what's the point? Why persist in faith if it doesn't make your problems go away now? Simple answer is that when you feel most inadequate, that's when you are most dependent on God. One of the paradoxes of Christianity is that your value to God isn't in your strength. His ability to work the best through us in our weaknesses is counterintuitive. In every other area of life, you're praised, you're judged for your ability. But God turns that on its head. The Apostle Paul relates a moment like this in his own life in 2 Corinthians. And after pleading with Jesus to remove the cause of his suffering, here is Jesus' reply. Jesus answered, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." In light of that answer, when Paul, in the midst of his suffering, when God seemed distant, when he responded, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness," Paul then said, "Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong." Again, counterintuitively, our moments of weakness, they drive us back to Jesus. They remind us of our failures, yes, but more than that, they remind us that because of Christ, when we are weak, then we are strong. Have a great day.